If you're watching this video, it's a pretty good bet that you're a filmmaker. You may even already be a professional filmmaker. But if you're an amateur filmmaker, I'm guessing that you're watching this video because someday, somehow, you want to be a professional filmmaker. I am a professional filmmaker, and I have been since 1991. I started making money from making films in 1987, and over the 4 years between 87 and 91, I built my business up so that by 91, my only source of income was filmmaking. And since then, my only source of income has been filmmaking right up to the present day. I work in the corporate video sector. It's been an extremely successful sector for me. I've made videos for 3 of the world's top 5 brands, Apple, Google and Microsoft. I have learnt how to master this sector over the last 25 or so years. And it's my intention through this video seminar to equip you with the tools so that you can replicate my success. There's a well-known saying that says that if you want to be successful, then you need to find someone who's achieved what you want to achieve, and then you just follow in their footsteps. So follow my model and you will be successful. I'm going to tell you how I find clients, how I work with clients, how I keep clients happy, and how I maintain my business, how I grow my business. I'm going to tell you all of that through this seminar. And by the end of it, you should have the tools that you need to build your business up and become a professional filmmaker, which is the dream of all filmmakers, to make a living out of making films. So let's talk about how we've structured this course. I'm going to talk in 3 big topic areas. The first one I'm going to talk about is markets and opportunities. I'm going to introduce you to all the potential corporate video sectors that there are. There are many, many sectors within the corporate video business that you can look at. And what I'm trying to get across to you here is that there are so many opportunities out there to make corporate videos, and some of them will be in places that you wouldn't have first thought of. And I want you to understand that the opportunity is staggeringly big. There is so much potential marketplace out there that you can never ever worry that you're going to run out of potential clients or potential business. There are just so many ways that corporate videos need to be made, distributed and shown, that there will always be demand for your services. So I'm going to basically talk you through the markets that exist, just as a kind of just to give you the idea of looking in places you wouldn't normally look for opportunities. I'm then going to talk a bit about how to build your business up and how to develop your career. And then I'm going to move on and talk about a case study. The reason I picked it as a case study is because I have a wealth of material to support the unpicking of the making of this video. I've got some raw footage, I've got some scripts, I've got a lot of material to help me explain to you how I made the video so that you can learn from it. So those are the 3 main subject areas we're going to be talking about. So we're going to be looking at markets and opportunities. And there are 3 sort of key areas that you need to be considering when you're looking at your markets and opportunities. The first thing you need to do is identify your market. And in a moment, I'm going to talk you through all the potential markets that you could be looking at to help you identify your market. The next thing you need to do is to break into your market. And I'll be talking you through ways of how you approach those markets, how you can break into them. And then once you're into a market, you need to grow and maintain your market share. And I'll talk you through ways to do that. So let's kick off by talking about how to identify your market. Now, the thing you've got to understand when you're looking for a market, you've got to think about what is being made. What sort of videos are being made? Who is making them? And how can I fit into that? How do I break in? So what is being made? Who is making them, or who are they being made for? And how can I fit in? How can I break in? Now, let's have a look here at a diagram that represents your relationship with a client. Very, very simple, straightforward diagram. There's you, there's the client, there's your relationship, that line between you. Couldn't be simpler than that. But as I said, that client could be any one of a number of people within the company that you're dealing with. Now, I want to show you another model, and this is the model that I have used for most of my career. And this is me at the bottom, and then I have a relationship with an agency, like a public relations agency, or I have a relationship with a production company, and then they have a relationship with the client. Now, I think you can see instantly that by doing it this way, you get much more work, because any one of those clients could suddenly pick up the phone and say, we need a video. And they have a relationship with the PR agency or with the production company. And they will ring up the agency and say, we need a video, do you know anyone? And the agency will say, yes, we know this guy. And they'll put you in touch with the client. So when you're putting together a toolbox, there are, again, a few things that you absolutely need to have in your toolbox. And some that, you know, might not be essential, but it'd be a nice idea to have. And the first thing I would say is journalism, a kind of a journalistic understanding, a journalistic background. The more you have of this, the better. It will really, really help you with your corporate video productions to have a sort of a journalistic understanding, a journalistic background. It's very, very helpful to understand how journalism works, how a story is put together. That sort of idea really, really does help when you're putting together a corporate video. I would also advise you to consider maybe doing an MBA or maybe doing a course in business studies. Again, I mean, these are not essential, but the more you understand what makes businesses run, what makes businesses tick, what's good for business, what's bad for business, the more you understand all of that, the better for you and your relationship with businesses when you're making videos for them, because you will, you will come across much more professional to them if you talk their language, if you understand what they're talking about, what their concerns are. If you're going to have music in your video, and I recommend that you do have, pretty much all the time you're going to be using royalty-free music rather than well-known music. But if you're going to have music, I would say really know how to use that music. I was once brought in to recut a video that wasn't working. The client just brought me in and said, look at this video we have, and I watched it and it just wasn't working. And the client just couldn't work out what was wrong with it. And I said, I reckon the problem you have here is you haven't used the music properly. And I basically compressed the film very slightly. I think I only took about 15 seconds out of it. It was about a 5-minute video. I took about 15 seconds out of it, which I thought was dead wood. And I recut the music and made sure that it orchestrated and rose and fell in level, and we had musical breaks and all this kind of stuff. I really symphonized the music in a way. And it made the video absolutely pop out of the screen once we watched it again, and the client was so impressed, and it was entirely down to using the music properly.